Hey folks, Doug Blake with Body Design University. In this video, I want to talk to you about periodization and specifically about the two types that NASM speaks to here in chapter 21. It's the linear versus undulating periodization ways to put together a schedule or periodization schedule. It is sort of the standard or classic way in which we deal with generally athletes, but NASM, correctly, I wouldn't disagree with them. You can do this for pretty much anybody. I will say this, just as a little aside, when it comes to periodization, the challenge with using a periodization schedule for non-athletes is simply compliance. Okay. Generally, if you're dealing with athletes, there's generally going to be a level of commitment to the training scheduling that you are generally, not always, generally going to find with the average client. Now, don't get me wrong, there are clients, and I've had clients for many years in some cases that were as committed um, to their training schedule as any athletes. And I've had some athletes that, they train and they're genetically gifted, so they performed well, even if they didn't have a really strong commitment to their training. But I will say that in general, the idea of periodization means that you're going to be able to get a schedule that's not just for the week but for the year. Generally, periodization schedules were originally designed to provide athletes a general way of dealing with their competitive season, then their off season, bringing them into at the end back around to their competitive season. Again, if you can get this robotic mechanical nature of physiology and training into the human body, you tend to see better results over a period of time. And that's what periodization does. It allows for different time periods of higher intensity, volume, right? Lower intensity, lower volume training, periodic rest periods that are built into the scheduling. So it allows for a more systematic way to help individuals get results. Okay. Now, NASM will tell you that you can use this for the average person, and you actually can. Again, it comes down to the ability of an individual to maintain consistency in the workout that you set out and create for them. So that was kind of a side. So I'm going to bring you back into the two different types of periodization scheduling. Either one works. Look, for the average person, doing anything that has consistency to it is going to be of benefit. So, yeah, what's known as the linear periodization way of dealing with scheduling versus what's known as the undulating. And you're going to find this on page 682, 683. Linear periodization, again, they give you the definition. The traditional method of program design that aims to gradually increase the intensity of the training load while simultaneously decreasing volume over a set period of time. So, and by the way, you see that in figure 21.5. So the standard model of periodization always is based on the load or the amount of resistance training weights that you're using versus the total volume. And if you know already what volume is, it's the total number of repetitions performed either for a muscle group in a particular workout or the entire workout, for instance. And the idea is that as one goes up over time, the other should come down. In other words, if you're increasing the weight and the load that you're imposing on a particular muscle in particular exercises, you should be decreasing the total volume, right? So the higher the weight, the lower the reps. And that's kind of the idea. So very simple way of doing it. And that's what these two arrows, obviously intensity goes up. If you're with me on page 683, figure 21.5, as the intensity of the training, generally the intensity of the sets, the workouts, right? The sets, the exercises that you're working on, as you over time, and we're talking over days and weeks and months, as you increase the intensity, the general understanding is that you need to decrease the total volume or you will overtrain. kind of the idea, right? Um, and so you have this standard way of doing it. Now, that's linear periodization. Uh, Sort of juxtaposed to that is what is known as undulating periodization. And that's the programming scheme, also known as non-linear. So linear, non-linear, sure, undulating. It's just kind of cool word. That uses change in volume, intensity, and exercise selection to provide loading differences on a daily or sort of weekly basis. And if you go to the next page, you can see the example of the undulating periodization, and that gives it to you on a weekly basis. It's really nothing more than changing up your workout or providing a structure to your programming that already has preset variables in place. And if you look at it, table 21, 2, example undulating periodization, it's giving you the purpose of the workout on Monday, the purpose of the workout on Wednesday and Friday. And so muscular endurance focused workout on Monday, rest day on Tuesday, whatever that means. Power focused on Wednesday. And then, of course, Friday would be hypertrophy focused. And so now what you can do is you can create a workout program that is already preset. You already know roughly what your rep scheme is going to look like, total number of sets, because now you can gauge your volume. And NASM is basically saying that you can use either one of these, right, for your clients. It doesn't really necessarily matter for the average client. For athletes, you got to be a little bit more careful in what you're choosing or how you're choosing your periodization schedules. And so the kind of the point here is that I've had students ask me, how important is this from a testing perspective? And the answer is yeah, you might get a question or two. You might not get any questions on it, depending on the exam that you're getting. But in general, you might get a question or two. It's actually an important component in fitness training, right? To help create a more structured, stable type of programming for your clients. But again, in this video, I just wanted to kind of give you a very brief overview of the two of them. If you got any questions on it, just let us know. If it was simple enough to understand, and I think it is, just write the word understand in the comment section below. Remember, if you have not done so, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up if it was helpful, and share the video as well if you wish. Let us know how we can be of assistance to you when it comes to helping pass your NASM exam. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.